Yo, what's up guys, it's ZEALS. Today I'm going to be making a personal off-stream one-on-one kind of a video because this one is going to be an important one. Can you guys believe it's been 4 months since we got Soul Eater with all the juiced up catch-up events that in this game we call Super Makoko Express event. Alright, so we're getting one more. And this one is important because we do not know the future from now on. We are caught up to Korea in terms of all the classes. So we don't know if we're gonna get another catch-up event in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't know how many months from now on we're gonna get this kind of a deal, right? Unless AGS, Smilegate work something up and they announce something for us. But we are going into dark now, dark mode. It's not like the good old days where we knew we were gonna get 4 more catch-up events, right? So this one really counts. And because of that, y'all been hitting me up on Twitch, and I love it that you guys ask me really detailed like consultations. Where to go? I've been playing this for 6 months. I'm bored of it. What should I do? What should I play between these two? And you guys can ask me that at any time at my Twitch channel in the video description. Links down below. I love going in detail, and I don't want to make this 3 hours long. Maybe the next video, when we talk about my roster. But anyways, guys, this one's important. We have to choose wisely. Whether you're new, like I said, returnee, veteran, this one counts. The thing is, you guys have blessed me with this crazy roster, and I was fortunate enough to try a lot of different classes, a lot of different specs, and of course this is going to be very biased, personal experience. So I just want to say the big disclaimer: the classes that I've played, the classes that I have fought against, the classes that I've talked to in my static or in my chat or seen, you know, the Bible and stuff like that, the damage meters. The first thing I want to recommend, guys, after hours and hours of talking to you guys on Twitch, the number one thing that I hate saying the F word, but fun really matters. No matter how strong a class may be right now, if it's not fun, you are not going to log in. You are like, you know, those games that I'm playing 4 different games right now. You know, those games that are kind of getting boring, you log on less and less. That's what's gonna happen if you pick a class that is not fun. And you're gonna come into my Twitch chat and be like, oh man, I've been playing this for 6 months, I'm growing so bored, what do I do? So no matter how powerful a class may be, please remember, guys, that powerful is important, but fun is the most important, so that you log in every day, you put in the grind, you do the dailies, the weeklies, the raids, the studies to learn the rotation, to get better. That's gonna really want you to log in every day and, you know, see your roster. So guys, fun is, don't underestimate fun, please. Please. Okay? We'll talk about that throughout the video, but that's not my first recommendation. That's not a class, but that is, I guess, another disclaimer. Anyways, the first class, in no particular order, that I want to recommend is going to be Blade. Okay, so I'm going to be once again talking about, I have to factor in everything. Let's get this right. Let me get off my chest. I have to factor in the new players, the returnees, the veterans, the people that want to main swap as a veteran or make a second main, which is an alt, as a veteran. Let me go into detail about, I guess, some of the criteria that I'm thinking about, as well as what makes things fun. Cost of accessories, gems, rotation. Is it a priority system? Is it a cycle system? Synergy, EHP, the tankiness of that character, the mobility. Is it a multi-hit? Is it a big donker hit? Or is it a mix of both? I'm going to factor in all of those things, okay? But those are the things that you also have to think about as well when you are picking a class, as well as sound effects, the clothes, the skins, I mean, the animations, all of that stuff. That is everything that I think about when I pick a main. Right now, my current main is Blade, okay? Not only is she powerful, she's got good synergy. Her rotation is pretty fast. It's got multi-hits. It's got a big, chunky hit from Surge. We got the Surge Blade as well as Remaining Energy. They are both pretty meta right now. I mean, that's an understatement, but yeah, she performs well with not a lot of investment. If you play Surge, you pretty much need like 1 big damage gem. Yeah, you could, you know, get the rest, but to be honest, you could perform. There are so many videos, so many memes of Surge Blades with only a Surge gem. doing pretty well. It's easy to enter in terms of difficulty and enjoyable to master. There is definitely a climb. You have to practice a lot, do a lot of the raids over and over. If you really want to min max, this class is it as well. Easy to enter, not hard to master, but you're gonna enjoy the process of learning this class as well. And then when you really learn her, oh dude, she's gonna explode. All right, so she's gonna do well, not that much investment, but she's gonna also do well if you invest into her as well. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so in terms of like mobility, tankiness, synergy is great. One of the best synergies in the game. Damage is crazy right now. And even if she gets nerfed, I think she should get nerfed. I've been saying this over and over. Her synergy is gonna be, unless they strip that as well, it's gonna last through the test of time. All right, so the blade, especially Surge Blade, I highly recommend. Next, I wanna go to Breaker. And I wanna group it with Scrapper. Once again, this is in no particular order. Breaker is a new class. And people say it is the male version of Scrapper. Technically, yes, it is a gender unlock. However, it plays nothing. It plays nothing like Scrapper. For example, Asura, it's a head attack class. All right, so it's like a modernized destroyer. Not really, but it's a head attack. It's a modernized head attack class or spec. And the other spec is, what is it called in English? It's like the Brawler or something. Brawler King. That is like, it's not really like esoteric war dancer, but it is a non-positional nuker. Build gauge and spend the gauge with 2 major skills. And in terms of alt, or is it newbie friendly, it has the tools to be pretty newbie friendly. It is not that expensive because, like I said, most of the damage, like Asura, comes from the class identity, right? Obviously, you want to get like more damage gems, but the priority of the damage gems, you can focus on 1, and for the brawler, you can focus on 2 while you work on the 2 to 3 more additional damage gems. So it has an easy entry, and it has one of the specs that is pretty chill, easy to play, but highly rewarding currently. And Asura is a little bit more challenging, like I said about Surge Blades. As you learn and develop your skills, it pays off. It has a high ceiling. So that's Asura. And Asura is Asura is gonna be a head attack, positional, melee DPS, and Blade is gonna be back attack. Now, the reason why I group it with Blade and Scrapper is because I get so many questions about, should I play Blade or should I play Breaker? They are both meta. They do pretty stupid damage. Obviously, on certain fights, Breaker is gonna do better. On certain fights, Blade is gonna do better. But the major difference is their synergy. Breaker is just 6%, okay, compared to Blade. Blade is just crazy synergy. Breaker has got the 6% synergy. We're gonna group them into the 6% synergy category, classification. Is that the word I'm looking for? But yeah, Blade synergy is gonna, even if her damage gets nerfed, it's gonna last through the test of time unless they take that synergy away or nerf that synergy as well. So she's got that advantage over Breaker. And if you like female characters and you want to be pretty strong, Blade, obviously. If you want to play a male character that's new, modern, fun, well, a lot of the people that have played Breaker, especially Asura, are saying that it is pretty damn fun. So if you want to play the new flashy toy, a male character, Breaker is going to be it. But we don't know what's going to happen down the road with Breaker in terms of his power, right? So we have to group them up with a 6% synergy. We got the Sorks, right? We got Scrapper, we have Zerker, Slayer. Did I already say Slayer? There's a lot of classes that have the 6%, and they're pretty much competing with each other, sort of, to get into spots when it comes to raids, unless you guys are joining raids where they don't really care about synergy. Now for Scrapper playstyle is completely different. Like Taijutsu is gonna be a back attack, as well as, they're both back attack. Taijutsu is a consistent DPS, very reliable, consistent DPS, and Shock is gonna be pretty much a burst. Consistent burst? Yeah, consistent burst. So right now, after the rework, Taijutsu, as well as Shock, but Taijutsu, I want to focus on Taijutsu. Taijutsu is performing, out of the Swiftness Entropy class, the back attack Swiftness classes, Taijutsu is performing pretty much at the highest. Now, back in the day of when Thaemine first came out in Korea, that was before Taijutsu as well as War Dancer rework. So Predator was the queen of progression for Swiftness Entropy back attack. However, we got the balance patch a month and a half, I think, after Thaemine's release, and things have shifted. I believe out of the Swiftness Entropy classes, Taijutsu is one of the most competitive because her identity is really, really good. It provides extra burst during Atrophin windows. Hunger Reaper really don't have that. So Taijutsu also is very tanky, very mobile. Not only that, it has double spacebar, which is really good for progression. Yeah, I also want to talk about, like, when I factor these classes, I want to talk about you guys also entering into Thaemine as well as Echidna and beyond. Now, of course, unless you guys whale, you're not gonna get a breaker or scrapper to Thaemine hard level by April. Not be Thaemine prog ready, Thaemine hard prog ready. So when you pick a class, you shouldn't really think about like, oh, is it gonna be good for prog for Thaemine? Because by the time you guys get to Thaemine, you probably would have progged already on your main if you're a veteran. And if this is your ult, yeah, it's gonna be way faster tempo because of Transcendence and your buddies having more gear or pugs having more gear. But for new players, you might have to factor in progression as well. All right, so Taijutsu is very, very strong right now in the current meta. Her rotation is very simple, easy to play, but high damage, high consistent damage, good mobility, tanky. May not be flashy, may not be as flashy as Breaker, but she is very safe right now. Very, very safe. A lot of people are happy with her and performing really, really well. And yeah, this double spacebar will save you in the harder content. Now, the next one I recommend may not be, in terms of damage, as strong as the theoretical ceiling of a Taijutsu Scrapper, but she's not too far behind. Reaper Hunger, as well as, well, I recommend Hunger. I believe Hunger Reaper, as well as Taijutsu Scrapper, just, I know there are a lot of good classes for progression, like progressing hard content, but Reaper is super, super safe choice. I really like her rework, and I've been loving the heck out of Reaper. She is so fun. Hunger is really easy to learn, and there is just so many versatile builds for Hunger, as well as for Lunar. That's one thing I really like about Reaper. She has certain skill slots that we can exchange because they put her counter skill into her identity, which is freaking broken, by the way. She can counter from the back. The amount of things that... This counter is just so good for Thaemine, Echidna, just every content, okay? For Voltus, countering from back of the mirror to the front or vice versa. And because her counter is in her identity, you can slot in EHP skills or mobility skills. You could do more DPS by bringing... Let me change my build real quick. So we could go with this variant. I don't know what the skill is called in English, but yeah, there are so many. There's also a new Guardian tree coming out of the works right now being researched. So I really like that about Reaper. Her mobility is top notch. EHP just got buffed, but she doesn't really need EHP because you could bring more EHP through Black Mist. Not only that, because she's so mobile, she really rarely gets hit. And there's so many workarounds these days with Ether Predator 3 for long fights, like Thaemine, Progression, Hard, Gate 4. Dude, her rotation is pretty easy. And she has Shadow Vortex, lowering the cooldown of her swoop skills, so her combat pacing is super fast. And I forgot to mention this, no mana. No mana for Breaker, Scrapper, Reaper. Mana is such a deal breaker for a lot of new players, and it, like, eating mana food is so smooch, okay? And worrying about mana, and then worrying about your support, bringing the mana tripod, and blah, 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 blah. It just shaves away from the fun. And because of these things, I really freaking highly recommend Hunger Reaper. It is such a good ult, such a good class. If you want to main her as a beginner, it just, woo! Dude, she is so freaking fluid. So I really give her a stamp of approval. Now, sadly, I will not put Slayer up in here this time, like 4 months ago. Yes, Slayer has a great model. She has big boobs, but out of the swiftness back attack classes, I feel like in terms of comfort, fun, for me at least, it pretty much got power crept by the reworks of Scrapper and Reaper. The problem is, I feel like Predator class engraving is just not that newbie friendly, new player friendly. It is, I feel like there's like a shackle, right? It gives me stress, it gives me PTSD. You might like it, but I personally don't. And Punisher is not something that I really recommend unless you really want to gear your Slayer with level 10 cooldowns. You really want to min-max your Slayer and get her the right gear. I don't even want to say the 9-7, but that will really help out so that you could drop Master Elixirs. But Slayer Punisher is not bad by any means, but it's pretty gear intensive, and it is really good in Echidna and Voltus, but in Famine, Predator is a little bit more safer. But like I said, like, do you have the goal to like switch builds back and forth like that? I just can't recommend it above Scrapper and Reaper unless you just like her model. She just got too many shackles. I feel like she just got power crept, not in terms of just numbers, but in terms of playstyle. Because remember, she's not getting any reworks since her release a year ago. Other classes are. Like I said, for example, Blade and Scrapper as well as Reaper, their reworks really make them more fluid with less shackles, less things dragging a class down in terms of fun, efficiency than Slayer in the current state of the game. Now let's move on to non-positional. All right, we got Soul Eater. Soul Eater, both her class builds or class engravings are doing amazing right now. Guys, when you're a new player and they give you free level 7 gems and stuff, that's fine and dandy, but as you get into the harder and harder content, they're gonna ask you for level 9 and 10 gems. And level 10 gems, damage gems, cost way more than the cooldown gems. So a class with 3 damage gems is something that you want to main or have a second main or your second ult, favorite ult, to be down the road. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if you're playing a class with 6 to 7 damage gems and that class, like let's say 15% of the damage comes from one skill, 18% from another skill, it's not like 40% or 30%, then you pretty much want to get all those damage gems and then upgrade them eventually to level 10. That's gonna cost a lot versus worrying about your accessories. Like accessories in the beginning, sure, but in the end game, gems, oof. So I recommend Soul Eater. Technically, yeah, full moon, you can use 4, even 5 level 10 damage gems, but 3 is just good enough. And Night's Edge, 3 to 4, right? 3 to 4 at level 10 is fine enough. So in terms of gems, not as much stress for Soul Eater, and she is just very powerful. She's just not getting nerfed. She is very popular. She's relatively still very new. They also recently buffed her EHP. She just has a good public perception. She's very popular. She's just, you know, that pretty girl at school that gets away with everything. That's Soul Eater right now. The next one I want to recommend is War Dancer. She also got recently reworked with Reaper, Scrapper, and all them, Blade. To my surprise, they actually reworked her pretty well. She used to be very short range, T-Rex, but they increased her range. I don't know, they just did a lot of good things for her. She can no longer go really entropy, so she's going to be a non-positional. You still want to do some back attacks, attack from the back for skills that are back attack skills, but she is considered a non-positional. Yes, SL's doing really well right now. First Intent is a very safe class for progging as well. So if you want to really bring forth the power of War Dancer, and they're just both performing really well. Now, First Intent, she still uses mana, but you can combat that by using 2-piece Nightmare, or if you hate 2-piece Nightmare and a 4-piece Dominion. Now, if you hate Conviction Judgment snapshotting for your Dominion buff, then you could just go 6-piece Nightmare. Or you could go play Esoteric. Now, I play both, but I recently sold my Esoteric gems. Esoteric is nice. You don't need that many damage gems. People really do like the new animation rework for War Dancer, as well as, like I said, the range issue. So a lot of that got fixed. Her damage cycle got shortened. It's got consolidated. Basically in this game, you don't want to be staying too long. You don't want to be staying still too long. You want to cast your skills immediately and move on, especially the harder the content is. She's gotten that. And First Intent, very mobile, very, very tanky, great synergy. And you got Wind Whisper, which is just goated. Pitmaster parties love you because you bring crit as well as Wind Whisper, attack speed, as well as movement speed. So War Dance is flashy, tanky, preferred in groups, Hitmaster groups. If they care about synergy, if they're trying to min-max, they want to have a War Dancer in the Hitmaster party, as like the Entropy party want Gunlancer and Blade. I do have a couple complaints about her counter. I wish, even though it is a multi-hit, I wish it had a little bit more range. It used to be an issue until they nerfed the part of the fight in Thaymine Gate 4 87 bar mechanic. Her spacebar is the shortest animation, one of the shortest animations in the game, which means less tenacity, time under tenacity. Other than that, I really don't have a complaint for War Dancer. I don't know if you guys are getting the pattern right now, but I'm recommending a lot of classes that are tanky, mobile, flashy, right? They got reworked, so they rotate, they use their skills faster. Skill animations are faster, so they're not sitting ducks. Some classes that I'm recommending have great synergy. They don't have things that tie you down or make it not fun, like mana. And also coming with great damage, and some of them being pretty much at the top of the tier, top of the food chain for damage currently. Now, the next one I want to recommend is Aeromancer. Aeromancer, we got Wind Fury as well as Drizzler. Rizzler and Wind Fury. Wind Fury is more popular in Korea. She is performing pretty well in the end game for Thaymine as well as for Ekina. Considered very fun and great synergy. The only downside is that she is an Ayaya. So if you want big titties and ass, then this is not it. Yeah. But the thing is, Lost Ark has a couple classes that are sweaty. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we got the classes that are easy for casuals, easy to enter, easy to approach, and that is this class right here. Aeromancer is very new player friendly. Just chill. If you like chill vibes, you don't want to be the main hero. You just want to, I mean, it's not that she's bad. She can perform, but if you want to just be cute and have good synergy, as well as perform your duty, and just have fun while doing it without sweating too hard, then this will be the perfect class. Now, the last one I want to brush up, guys, is while she may not be the most comfortable, the most fluid in terms of mobility or super armor, tenacity, Igniter just got a decent small rework where her gauge generation as well as spending her gauge, it's bonkers. It's pretty bonkers. It's satisfying. Her skill animations to this day are pretty top notch. Yes, she is called a giraffe right now. All the mages are, but it is what it is. But in terms of building gauge as well as her burst cycle, I believe, in my opinion, the rework is good enough and it's making her pretty busted. And I personally want to take a deeper dive into it. I'm getting a little tempted, but we'll have to see. But for sure, she is back in the table for meta talks. If not, she's leading the way on fights that have not a lot of mobility. Like the bosses have a huge hitbox or they don't move much. And that may be the next boss, we don't know, with Behemoth. But in Ekina, she is doing freaking good. And Thaymine, as long as you know how to learn to fight as a Sork, as an Igniter Sork, then you'll be okay. Once you become expert at Thaymine, for farm, she will be very, very fun. So I do want to include Sork because the rework. People are underplaying it right now, saying that it's pretty weak. They're lying, okay? They're lying. She is really good right now. And to wrap it up, of course, I want to recommend the supports, including Gunlancer. Gunlancer is vital, very vital. It's just night and day difference having a Gunlancer in your group versus not having it for helping you with Vanilla, the cleanse, and the Taunt is an icing on top. The synergy, of course. Also, they can dish pretty good damage for Ekina as well as Thaymine. All right. And for the three supports, Artist, Bard, and Paladin, They are crucial for Lost Ark, and also will help you get into groups if you're a new player struggling as a DPS. When everybody's rolling around with Blade Breaker and all of that stuff, you know, people are gonna need supports. So support, if you like supporting, if you wanted to get into groups and not have to spend so much gold compared to DPS, support is a very good option as well. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. If you have any questions or you want more detail, please drop on my stream, twitch.tv/ZealsAmbitions, and I will get to you. Just tag me and say you watch this video and you need more help. I'll be right there, man. I'll be right there. Thank you so much for checking this video out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.